Adventures in Colorectal Cancer, 2026, May 13th. Friday the 13th came on a Wednesday. So, in BC, the top cancers are number one is lung cancer, number two is prostate cancer, number three is colorectal cancer for men. I was living in Australia from 2012 to 2015. And January 3rd of 2013, I was putting along my motorcycle and a young woman on a cell phone turned into me, and I wound up with a comminuted compound fracture of the lower right tibia. Basically, she shattered the bone and then drove it through my leg. So when I went to the hospital, because it's Australia, I got a chest x-ray. So why did I get a chest x-ray for a broken leg? Actually, the broken leg, if I was a horse, they would just shot me. 6 months on crutches with a plate before that healed. Anyway, Australia is a very condensed gene pool. The number of red-haired, blue-eyed, hemophiliac, left-handed, colorblind men there is disproportionately large. All those Irish, I guess. So they have a higher incidence of cancers because cancers are I better be careful here. Getting cancer tends to be a genetic predisposition. So, and yeah, Australians like to say that, oh, Australia has the highest density it has higher UV ratings than any place else in the world, which is just like, you really want to give that a think. Right? So, get a chest x-ray. I'm going to assume it was either for tuberculosis or for, which would be really weird at this juncture in history, or lung cancer. But my lungs were clear, so I don't have that. So I don't have the number one men's cancer. I have the number three men's cancer. So I'm going like, why don't we get checked for number two? My CT scans is in 2 weeks. And then right the next day I see the oncologist. So why don't we just like cover that base? So I'm in seeing the doctor, and I learned a couple things. Number one, BC is not one patient, one record. So the doctor that I'm seeing does not have the ability to see all of my records from other doctors. So like because my March 2nd blood test was not ordered by this doctor didn't have she couldn't see it. As well as my April 17th, 16th blood test, couldn't see that. So fortunately, because me, engineer, I printed the documents out, so I can just give them the documents so they can look at them. So I'm just going like, this is just stupid, which is now I understand why the colonoscopist and the guy who did the biopsy sent paper records to the doctor who started this, because it's just like, because he just can't go to my file and pull them up. I go, gee, Jesus wept. The other thing is, so the doctor's making up the script for me to get the blood test for the prostate PSA test. And she said, so many times do you go to the bathroom in the middle of the night? And I'm going like, not usually. And she looks at me and says, if you do not have problems peeing, medical service plan that BC Healthcare will not pay for the blood test. And I'm thinking like, Whiskey Tango Foxtrot? Like, I've got the number 3. Why are you not just covering off the base for the second most common type of cancer? Because like, it might have spread. Like, what? So I have to look at it and go, oh, gee, I now recall that, yeah, 2 or 3 times a night. Is the stream diminished? Oh, yes, the stream. I go, yeah. So it's, once again, sort of the first indication that there's an issue isn't with some sort of diagnostic test that's done regularly. It's, oh, you're having issues. Well, by that time, like, the ship started to sail, and if you're like me, like, you could be quite serious before it's picked up. I'm not sure if we've done this. So we're supposed to have, I'm supposed to have a routine colonoscopy at 51, 61, 71. And then the FIT poop blood test every 2 years. So if I had the colonoscopy at 61, I don't need the poop test until 62, then 64, then 65, then 66. And when they removed the bleeding polyp from mid-rectum, I asked the doctor, well, how long would it take that to grow? He said, oh, a year and a half. So like, there's no chance that this thing would have been picked up until it started bleeding. And I'm 68, so my next fit test would have been at 68. So like, no, let's just say a 50-50 chance that I would still be here even if I had done everything that I was supposed to have done. So it's just like, and same with the prostate. Like, as the prostate doesn't all of a sudden one night go from I'm fine to holy shit, I'm going to squeeze off your urinary tract. It's a slow progression. And so by the time that a guy would notice that he has an issue, he's got a fucking issue. So, especially, this is the age, right? I'm 68. So this is the age that this stuff happens. So again, like, insurance actuary tables are like balancing how much does it cost over how many people will get it and how much does that cost. So the cost of fixing it is less than the cost of having lots of men get this test, which is like, okay, but the impact down, the other financial impact, there's a word for this, is much greater than the cost of just what's going on in the hospital. Yeah. The knock-on costs are yeah. So yeah, unimpressed. I'm still unimpressed with the medical system. The bureaucracy of the medical system and how it's tied to, actuary tables. Bizarre. Anyway, making appropriate life decisions. You don't make any money, but you get good stories.